So we're going to end up with Battlefield of Eternity. I like this map. It's big. It's got a lot of space between the two lanes. So we could see an Abatha pick or ban come out here.
Abatha's top tier on this map. I wouldn't be surprised if we see an Abatha ban potentially, especially with the mine build that the pros are running now. It's just so strong on this map. It opens so much for your team comp as well. There's really nothing you can do against a good Abatha player. Like, there's no real counter. The draft these days is really it sort of revolves around the strength of Sonya. The Taran ban, that's pretty interesting actually. Pretty interesting. I guess that's just something Wales don't like to play against.
Yeah, I mean Taran's currently been a really almost standard pick in the current where the meta. Taran and Tassadar really up there. These off supports finding a lot of play due to their changes. I mean, having a Taran gives you the option to go with obviously either of her ultimates, although we tend to see Shadowstalk as it allows a bigger variation of choice coming out from the normal pick solo support that would come up with that.
That's interesting. I guess the Taran ban it's clever because they basically said to how we pronounce it, Skraca, that they have to either ban Uther or they have to ban Abatha, right? Or they're going to take one. So that's pretty smart. If I was Skraca right now, I would be locking in Mirrodin Sonya right now, straight away. Especially with Taran out of the game. If you take that Mirrodin, there's really no counter to Sonya. Instead, they take Tassadar. It's a strong pick, but
yeah, Tassadar with the way his shields have been changed work really well with Sonya. Also, if he goes with Force Wall instead of Archon, not unusual to see.
Strong
it
on this
can
map
lock somebody up against
channels.
Sonya.
Yeah. I would be picking Mirrodin right now for sure. Mirrodin is essentially the best counter you can have to Sonya, just because, especially once he gets Avatar, the stunning potential just stops her from really doing anything, from using her whirlwind. There's the Mirrodin. Yeah, he's also 100%. The top tier tank now, just 100%.
Johanna is still right up there, but now that she doesn't have the wave clear...
Now that her wave clear isn't as good...
She's like a slightly less tanky Mirrodin, and she doesn't have an escape. Other than, good use of her trait, for example, but...
Jaina, solid pickup here. It just combos well with anything. It's good, but it's good against the Sonya.
Always the slow coming up from Jaina, as well as just that consistent ranged assassin damage coming up from her. I don't think there's going to be a game we don't see her touched at all, whether that be picked or banned.
Yeah, she's pretty much 100% involved in a draft. Even after so long and after a couple of nerfs, she's still a very top tier hero.
I remember when she was considered absolutely trash, but that was because her stats from Blizzard didn't show up on the scoreboard. So everyone's like, "Oh, she does nothing," and then once Blizzard fixed that, everything was good. She's
Raynor. Now that this Raynor ban is quite interesting to me, that makes me think that Skraca are looking for
like triple warrior, maybe
potentially triple warrior comp. Because Raynor is really what you would use against warriors to just chew through them. Yeah,
I mean, with Sonya's quite a common pick for the triple warrior comps. We could even see a Tyrael come out to help give Sonya a little bit of extra tankiness with the shields and the isolation.
I'm not sure I would look for a triple warrior comp when you've already got Tassadar, because you're probably going to lack in damage. Bearing in mind that some teams have done this in tournaments, some top teams. I think it might have been Cloud9.
Have they gone with the solo Tassadar?
Yeah, but I would be very surprised if this is what they go for. That Karazin ban is pretty quite clever here. It
makes a lot of sense. He's one of he's one of the best supports to combo with those off supports, just because of the way he functions.
I'd like to see a Brightwing here. I'd like to see a Brightwing pick up. The global presence on this map is incredible. The Tyrael pickups are in. I would think that's a Sanctification Tyrael.
Yeah, I'd assume so. We've seen some massive work come out from Sanctification last tournament. I mean, when Judgment was picked up, the singular game, we watched it get picked up, I think, or either once or twice. It didn't work nearly as effectively as the Sanctification. In fact, not necessarily the tournament, won the games that it was used correctly in. It was a real big game changer.
Judgment's still an incredibly powerful ultimate to pick up on Tyrael, but it requires like a specific comps, comps that can really make use of that, just so they can instantly burst to the target who's judgmented, which right now Skraca don't have, especially when you go into Tassadar. Sylvanas pickup, interesting. I mean, the Koreans really like Sylvanas, so she does give you sustained damage, and if you can land those clutch silences as your team goes in, to stop the Divine Shield, for example. So I guess we'll see who's on the Sylvanas player and keep a close eye on them.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, it has to be to stop it has to be really on the Uther and the Jaina, because Jaina will be, at the moment, the target Skraca want to be going for, and if she gets a chance to Ice Block or Divine Shield, you're not going to be able to, any of that kind of commitment onto her is going to be all for naught, so the silence would be really key in those sorts of situations if we see the Judgment come out. But as you say, more likely it'll be Sanctification.
The Sagara pickup's very nice.
The
more into Ring of Frost combo, I'd love to see that. You can essentially land a completely free Ring of Frost with Sagara's Maw if you just time it right. And then the Valor for like some sustained damage on the Immortal, sorry. That's a solid lineup there.
Yeah, Vala just kind of rounding it off. She's always that consistent range damage. We've not really seen her fall off much at all throughout her release, really, in the competitive scene. She was kind of a second tier pick, or even a third tier ranged assassin pick for a short while.
Well, during the early stages of the alpha, she was like 100% the top tier assassin. Yeah. Malfurion, okay, like the Malfurion does make sense in a double warrior comp, and roots are very strong on this map.
Also, a lot of his healing is heal over time, obviously, as everyone knows. But you've got some burst healing coming out from the Tassadar, and even a small amount from the Tyrael shields itself. So that loans very well to the Malfurion healing, getting the best effect coming out there.
It's gonna just depend on this Malfurion's positioning, because if he's caught out, then their lineup's going to crumble. Which is why I might have potentially preferred a Brightwing there. Especially as Brightwing is very nice against Jaina with the spell shields that you can put on Sonya to speed her up. But the Malfurion works really well in the double tank lineup and on this map in general. Gives you a bit more pushing power as well with the level 1 talent.
Definitely.
It's really personal preference.
Just getting into this lobby now, I am actually going to invite you in and have you swapped over into the lobby. Since Hypathan is normally used to having Lustria come in. So there we go, we're in. We're into the lobby. Who do you think, who's your favourite in this draft now? Storm Wales or Skraca?
I'm gonna say Storm Wales, to be honest. They've got the absolute top tier support, they've got the top tier tank, and they've got some very high tier ranged assassins that are just, it's a very standard comp.
Yeah.
But
it's a lot of safe
they play
picks.
Right, then it works. Okay. But I don't know. We'll see. Like, Skraca can definitely win this. They've got some good synergies with like the Sonya Tassadar. By any, I just don't know if they're going to have enough damage.
I don't know where. I mean, they really need a lot of burst damage to deal with the kind of assassins or the damage dealers on Wales' side, because there's that Divine Shield, and I don't really see that right now with the Sylvanas pick. Maybe with a Kael'thas pick potentially, or something along those lines over a Sylvanas, but really she's just kind of more sustained, constant range damage throughout the fight with that big silence ulti to hopefully get a good initiation down as well. So I mean, Sonya's going to have to do a lot of work.
I'd almost like to see Leap on Sonya instead of Wrath the Berserker.
So have Leap with Sanctification.
Yeah. You can... one of the main reasons you take Wrath the Berserker is just to have reduced CC and also a bit more damage coming out of the Sonya. But with Sanctification, you don't really have to worry about her getting CC'd.
Yeah.
And the Leap engage might be fairly strong for their team right now, because it will give them the ability to just jump in. Like, a Leap with then a silence going on the Uther so he can't Divine Shield, that someone's going to die if you actually pull that off.
So I think I'm going to have to agree with you, though. I think Wales do have the slightly more advantageous draft because it's a bit more
it's just
normal,
standard.
we'll say.
It's
it's very standard. It's very consistent. They've got a lot of good top tier pick heroes, like you say, the top tier support, the top tier warrior, if not right up there. And I mean, Zagara, while she's a specialist and we keep calling her a ranged assassin, she fills that role in very well. And of all the specialists in the game, she is the top tier specialist.
I do like Skraca's pushing power.
Yes.
With Malfurion, Sylvanas and Tassadar, they have the ability to defend against Immortals and push with their Immortal extremely well. So if they can get an Immortal, they're probably going to get more off of it than Wales would. So that may be where they get ahead. And if they do get ahead, then the weaknesses of their comp in like the slight lack of damage they may have will be less apparent.
Yeah. Now, we have had a request from Team Skraca to be called 1 out of 5. So they're Team 1 out of 5, and I have updated their name to 1 out of 5 Skraca. So, just for future reference, so Team 1 out of 5 versus Team Storm Wales, or Team Wales for short. This Heroes of the Storm Open Tournament, hosted by eSports Wall. This is the round 1, which is technically a round of 8. First game that we're going to be casting here, and we'll get it on for you guys very shortly. We have a nice colour coordination, I think, going out here from Team 1 out of 5.
I am liking the colour coordination.
Yeah, we've got a lot of grey.
Solid.
So we're just waiting for one more player to be ready, and I will swap us over to the loading screen as soon as that's in. But draft's still up for everybody. Yeah. And also, as you said, 1 out of 5, they can definitely still win this. We're not counting them out. It's just because Wales have so many consistent picks and top tier picks that
I definitely think 1 out of 5 can do this. The key players to look out for is the
Sylvanas and the Sun.
The Sylvanas is silences. Those are going to be 100% making these fights. Tyrell's sanctification timing, and just the pure amount of damage that Sonya can put out, like how effective she can be. And then on the other side, I guess the thing we want to look out for is probably Zagara's Moors. Those are going to be the game changers. If she can get a good Moor off and then they can single out a target and kill it, then it should be some really interesting team fights for these lineups.
Yeah, definitely. And now, just to reiterate, the map we are going on to is Battlefield of Eternity. This is a best of 1, so whoever wins this does advance. The other person gets knocked out the tournament. And Battlefield of Eternity, for those who are potentially new or not too familiar with the map, is a large 2-lane map where periodically Immortals will spawn in the middle of the battlefield. And actually, whilst we're getting into the loading screen, I'll swap us over there. Two big Immortals spawn in the middle of the map in randomised locations, always opposite each other. And they battle it out, and you have to defend your Immortal and attack your opponent's Immortal. As soon as one Immortal is at half health, they swap positions into other randomly allocated positions, but again, always opposite each other. And then, finally, once one Immortal is defeated, your Immortal comes and fights for you. It will go to the lane which has the least amount of push currently happening, so the most health in total on the buildings. For the first Immortal, it does tend to be a bit more random, though, because it's not always guaranteed to be the most health on buildings. Just for that first Immortal. And it pushes with you, and it's a very strong push. It does a lot of damage right from the word go, and it simply gets more and more health as the game goes on. Correct me if I'm wrong on any of that.
It does get more and more. They're a lot harder to take down as the game goes on, yes. Which is... I actually think that sometimes it's worth letting the first Immortal go and getting a soak lead sometimes, especially if you can kind
of guarantee that level 10 advantage.
Yeah. But that's where the real decision making of this map comes in, I think, is in deciding early game whether you're actually going to go for Immortals or look for soak. Past 10, you pretty much always want to be looking
now we're in. Would you like to introduce for me the blue team, which is Storm Wales?
Well, we have Joe Kale on the Uther, High Pattern on Mirrodin, Warrior Duck, that's a cool name, on Jaina, Henky Boy on Valor, and then boss on the Zagara.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the red team, which is 1 out of 5, we have Endo Rocket playing that Tassadar. We have Surgeon, hopefully, making some clinical plays here on that Sonya. Like, see what I did there? Gromsd on the Malfurion.
Surgeon.
Lapster on that Sylvanas, and Nickum playing the Tyrael.
Okay, these are pretty standard lane setups, really, given what they've got.
One up top, and then 4.
1 out of 5 are going to be looking to get more push done down this bottom wave, but I doubt they're going to achieve much in the way of push against a Jaina and Valor. I'd imagine there'll be more push going off the blue side Zagara on boss at top lane. And Tassadar will just have to try and defend as best he can.
What do you think about Tassadar and Jaina both going for Conjurer's Pursuit here? It's not the most common pickup, but we do see it regularly.
Tassadar, there's not a huge amount else to take on level 1. He could have maybe gone for the shield talent.
Or even the range on Storm just for extra poke on the Immortal potentially.
The Jaina Conjurer's Pursuit is slightly strange when you can go a different Mala talent on level 4.
Yes.
Especially on this map where you don't get many. Yeah, it's Arcane Intellect. Especially as the Conjurer's Pursuit ramps up later in the game, whereas Arcane Intellect is useful throughout.
Battlefield of Eternity has not been one of the longer maps as potentially some people expected it to be when it came out on the PTR.
Well, it's just from the fact that it's a 2-lane map, I think. Both of the 2-lane maps that we have in the game are shorter than... at the moment, it seems like the blue side, the Storm Whales, are sustaining slightly better right now.
Yeah, I mean, they had taken a lot of poke damage, I think, but now that the Uther has managed to heal everybody
Valor Gang almost caught out there.
It's a very good Malfurion route, was unfortunately able to miss. In fact, the Sonya's going to get caught here a little bit. Couple stuns coming out, she's going to whirlwind to keep herself alive, but she's caught in a bad space. A fantastic Malfurion route coming out there, landing on 3. Wow. Uther's potentially going to die here as well, but no, the Muradin, the tankiest hero. Bait. Yeah, the tankiest hero on Stormwales is in fact the one to fall, so very well played there by 1 out of 5, and they do get that first blood and a bit of an advantage here, especially because they're defending their core.
Sonya's really going out. I'd just like to bring attention to the top lane, where this Tassadar's really struggling to sustain against this Zagara.
The bottom tower is completely out of
fights. It could end up meaning that Zagara can go to join her team for a fight, whereas Tassadar will have to base. So we'll see what happens.
It'd be interesting to see whether or not he goes Mule. Probably not, since it's not a very good map for Mule, but, maybe for that bit of ammo.
I think it's more likely that he'll take Static Charge, just because they're going to need a bit more damage.
Yeah, I mean, he has gone with Leeching Plasma.
Kind of poke.
He has gone with Leeching Plasma, so Kadala's Embrace is definitely a possibility, especially to help the Sonya out there a bit.
Yeah, the Leeching Plasma are really good with the War Paint on level 1 on the Sonya. It's, you can just watch and her health's just going up from autoing right now.
Very hard to kill her at this point, and
it's very even right now.
Yeah, Immortal advantage is slightly towards the Storm. Sorry, the 1 out of 5 as their Immortal is.
As well as XP advantage, just by a little bit. Oh, they're racing each other. This is quite risky. Yeah, okay.
And
as we said,
the
team with the advantage got the win.
Yeah, and I think they only won by about the same advantage as they had prior to the swap. So
now this Immortal will go down quite quickly. It's the first Immortal, and because of the race, it's actually got pretty much no shield, so they're going to be straight on the health. But as I was saying before, 1 out of 5 have a really nice pushing team, especially with that Sylvanas to stop towers.
Yeah, and they've left the Sonya to soak the bottom lane, and she's not the best pusher out of their team, so having her down there is absolutely fine.
It's quite risky pushing with Sonya, as you can actually just get caught by a stun and then burst as you're trying to push. So this is, I think, the best decision they could make.
Yeah. The Immortal, as you say, fell very quickly. They did manage to take the entirety of the wall, though, so that's pretty good. Not much damage done to the fort at all, and we'll see.
Both teams are going to instantly start looking for mercenary camps right now. It looks to me like 1 out of 5 were maybe looking for a bait there on the top mercenary camp, they were hoping that Storm Whales would come in, they could kill them. Instead, Storm Whales look like they're going towards the bottom.
And Tassadar does in fact end up going with Kadala's Embrace at level 7, so the permanent shields for half potency there.
I guess they just really want to keep that Sonya
all
up,
in on Sonya, that's what we're seeing out here from 1 out of 5.
I mean, it's a comp that works. She's so strong right now, just in the meta in general, so why not play to that straight
guard? Have a fight happening down in the bottom
really
lane.
Nice
High Pathan coming through, not able to secure the mercenary counts. Warrior Dutch is going to get absolutely obliterated on the side from the Envenom coming out of Sylvanas with the Tyrael following up. Vala barely survives, a good vault to get out of that. And Laps to Sylvanas, the only one who really took damage there, and just going to get healed up once or twice with enough urine to be full.
Dealt a lot of damage himself.
Yeah.
This person's actually starting to change my mind on Sylvanas. I really don't like having a Sylvanas in my Hero League games, but
I mean, if you look at her hero damage on the scoreboard, she's over 3 times second place, which is the Sonya. Or close to 3 times, rather, with Sonya having just under 4,000.
Obviously the Sonya is a melee assassin, so it's a bit harder to get in there and do the damage sometimes, especially
we'll
in
see
the early
what the
game.
stats show later into this game.
This is really nice. The strength of their comp is using it to just push even between immortals.
Yeah, and we have a bit of a disengage attempted here, but really good Malfurion route to lock down the Uther. He's able to get himself out.
Oh, Sonya down.
But Sonya goes down, and there's a follow-up stun on the Tyrael by the Uther, who might end up picking up Murden. He does not from his trait
feel like
up there.
1 out of 5 overstayed their welcome a little bit there, and they're going to pay for this now. They
almost attempted a disengage, and then decided to just step a little bit further in, go back in just for that brief moment, and that caused them to end up losing those 2 heroes there. So 2 for 2 kills equal here, and both teams just defending their mortals and taking their hard games. I'd like to also say that Uther hasn't taken any cleanse or anything at level 7, so no way to remove silence from an ally or a judgment if it goes on.
Well, there's not actually too much to cleanse, assuming that the Tyrael goes to sanctification, not judgment, which is
what
a safe assumption. You can't really cleanse Sonya's Q.
Sonya's going to get taken down in the bottom here by just constant slows from the Jaina, and the Vala following up with some right clicks.
Just getting caught out, really. But the team 1 out of 5 are just looking for that level 10 right now. They realise that they're going to get there quicker. So I think they're going to try and get level 10 and then collapse.
They've left Sonya and Sylvanas and Tassadar down bottom too.
There's the 10.
There's the 10.
Sonya's in base.
Force Wall taken. Which is what I almost kind of expected as it's a good way to lock in a target up against Sonya. We're going to have the Force Wall come down, locking out the Uther perfectly.
Exactly there.
Wow, that was spot on play.
Really nice pick.
No level 10, so no Divine Shield. Not for another couple seconds, the Uther's already dead, so that's going to be that. The Vala, Zagara's getting kicked off hugely here. A lot of sustained attack coming out from the smite from the Tyrael land, movement speed, as well as obviously the Sonya with the ancient spear. And 2
this
kills.
should be immortal for 1 out of 5. Although the Storm Whales might be up to contest this, they've got to kind of hold them off while Zagara gets here. If one of them gets picked off now with a Force Wall, then their defense attempt is over.
We did see Sanctification for Tyrael, but Wrath of Berserk is
they're looking to pick off that Uther again.
Oh, Tranquility comes out from Malfurion. The Tyrael's actually in a bad spot, but he's Sanctifications. The Wall of Frost, so the Ring of Frost comes down. It does absolutely nothing, but there's a really, really good Moor on 2 heroes now. Sonya taking a lot of damage. Tassadar in a really bad spot to get burst a huge and amazing Rain of Vengeance out from the Vala. It means they're going to pick up 3.
Yeah, you think that you've locked something with the Sanctification, and then the Wall of Vengeance comes in.
Yes, not strafe. The Rain of Vengeance there to follow up with the Moor as well as the Ring of Frost. Obviously, the Ring of Frost did nothing, but that Moor into Rain of Vengeance can't even be understated, because it did exactly what the Ring of Frost would have done anyway.
Yeah, I'd really like to see that Nikin, the Tyrael player, looking to save that Sanctification for after the Moor, because everything that Storm Whales have is going to be thrown after that Moor.
Yeah, he even popped it before the Ring of Frost came down, but it lasted just long enough to null and void the Ring of Frost. Not that I don't think anybody.
I don't think anyone would have got hit anyway. So the lead is now slightly in favour of Storm Whales, although I don't think they're going to get much of this immortal.
Yeah, again, it will probably just be about a wall. force wall coming up from Tassar, trying to delay any follow-up damage from the team.
The fact they don't have Skraca with them means they've got to play carefully, and they can't really push with this Immortal. But they have the advantage now, almost a level advantage. Both teams looking for Merc camps, mirroring each other on the map right now.
And teams also want to be, as you say, almost have the level advantage for Storm Whales, and that's that almost crucial level 13 for some teams with the compensation.
1 out of 5 need to push now. I think that potentially Storm Whales should have stayed bottom there to defend this, because they're now going to lose it.
I mean, 1 out of 5. They could see the Vala in lane, and they just saw that the camp up top was taken, so they know there's at least 2 heroes up there, which means that they can push because they have 4 down here quite happily. They're going to send Tassadar up to solo defend up against the Vala, Jaina and Skraca, which is
Tyrell's heading up now.
As you say, Tyrell's heading up, and the rest of the team is also rotating up, maybe looking to get a pick off, but really well disengaged there by Storm Whales.
That XP advantage is pretty much nullified by the fact that 1 out of 5 got that port, so even game again.
Yeah. Hard camps up for both teams now, and Sonya's going to immediately start on that, but Storm Whales looking to contest this. Warrior Duck's going to come in, take a little bit of damage, that was risky. Uther's going to walk straight in Divine Shield to try and hold the ground here, but it's not going to do anything. He might get picked up by this with good Zagar and Warren. You're landing on the Tyrell. Uther take a lot of damage from Sonya, and fantastic Rain of Vengeance landing on that Sonya and that Tyrell, meaning the Sonya's going to have to back off, although Sanctification comes down, a great force wall on blocking out 2. Oh my god, Sonya just comes in with that Ancient Spear follow-up, extra damage, and blows up the Uther and the Zagara, who did get caught out there. Wow.
Storm Whales were really, they needed to back off.
Oh, Navala got hit by the Immortal stun, and that's going to be her death. Jaina getting chased by the Sylvanas, going to end up dying to the Envenom.
I'm not sure why she turned back there. She could have got away, but never mind.
Yeah, I think she just tried to put down some slows, but the Sylvanas movement speed was too much. Since the level 13 talent Sylvanas took midway through that fight was evasive fire.
Just having a look at the talents, see if there's anything interesting come out. No, pretty standard talents from all teams. I think that Storm Whales just needed to back off from that hard camp as soon as some of their ults got whiffed.
I mean, the Jaina coming to see that it had basically already been taken meant that they should have just backed off there. The Uther going in solo, popping Divine Shield on himself was, I think, the biggest mistake.
But I like the fact they tried.
Yeah. So. You've got to respect their gumption.
Aggressive plays making an interesting game. So they're all up to defend it, although Zagara is having to deal with that hard camp. So I think that 1 out of 5 are going to force their way in here. They're going to look for a pick-off.
Yeah, I mean, they're in a pretty good position. Tassadar front, he's always going to be able to shift himself out. And good lockdown on Tyrell here from the double stuns, but that force wall going to come down, couple that with a Malfurion route. And just a successful disengagement from both teams as Muradin pops Avatar, and that's going to be effectively wasted at this point.
Zagara having to go bottom again. I think that 1 out of 5 could be forcing in again. Yeah, as soon as they see she's bottom, they start forcing in.
That's really good map sense there.
Tyrell
actually, that's amazing. Savannah's arrow doesn't land just before the Divine Shield comes
Big
out.
Big one though.
But yeah, the Ring of Frost does some work. It's not going to be enough. Uther and Vala both get picked up. Tyrell is a response kill though, as the Tranquility from Malfurion comes out and tops up the Tassadar and the Sylvanas. Although Tassadar going to get hit by an Immortal Stun, he's going to end up dying there. Sonya going back in, trying to jump in on the Jaina, the more whiffing, but the Vala, so the Jaina is going to come out the ice block and end up dying. Sonya's response kill from the Muradin and the Vala were right there. It's now Sylvanas and Malfurion versus Muradin and Zagara, and Zagara's very low, going to have to poke, but the Muradin coming in and doing a lot of damage to the Sylvanas. A good juke, but the Mutalisk able to get a bounce shot off and kill out the Sylvanas.
Very back and forth fighting right now. This Muradin needs to be basing. Yeah.
Storm Whales end up with 1 extra kill, I think, overall in that fight.
Yep, 4 for 3 in the end. And that Sylvanas is coming up later than everyone else. That's something that needs to be...
she died right at the end of that.
So potentially we could see a 5v4 coming out from Storm Wales here. They want to look for one, especially with the pick ability of Mirrodin.
Yeah. Coming back into this game's completely even again, and Storm Wales haven't taken a fort yet, so they can get an experience lead very quickly, but Tassadar getting caught out here a little bit, taking a huge amount of burst damage, and no dimensional shift talents for him, so...
Varing Moore is still on cooldown for the next 25 seconds, so 1 out of 5 want to be engaging around now.
Yeah, they definitely have a good fight there, but the wave used by the Sylvanas means that she has no escape, and she's going to get double stunned, absolutely blown up, really well played. The Force Wall coming up from Tassadar here, being able to do much shrink ray lands on him. Vala taking a lot of damage from Sonya in the back line, and Tyrael doing some decent damage to Uther in the front, but like you say, Mirrodin has no mana. And it means that he can't really engage and still have his Dwarf Toss available to get out. Meanwhile, Boss, bottom lane, pushing, leaving this as a 4v4 since the Sylvanas is dead.
Quite greedy by this Skraca. She knows, right? It's okay.
Surgeon coming through to try and do some damage, taking some harassment, but it's not going to be enough. And
Vala's just poking away on that Immortal. Some really nice communication going on by Storm Wales right now.
We'll have a Force Wall come down. Uther stun landing on the Sonya shields while winding. The Zagar Maul going to whiff again. Meanwhile, the Tranquility comes out. It is 3 heroes running away from 5, but fantastic Malfurion route to lock down 4 of them. Warrior Duck game pass not to get hit by that. Really good Sylvanas Wailing Arrow comes out, but an even better Divine Shield onto Zagara to stop her getting silenced. Rain of Vengeance come down, landing on 1. Just on the Sonya, it's not going to do so much. Tassadar face shifting, able to keep himself alive. And meanwhile, Vala just body blocked out. Uther's taken so much damage, he might end up falling here to the chase. Warrior Duck will get out most likely on the Jaina. High Pathan, the team captain on the Mirrodin, going to be able to Dwarf Toss himself out as well. But that is 2 for naught in that final fight there. And they ended up picking up the Immortal, so 1 out of 5, looking really strong.
Yeah. Definitely a solid lead now. They can be looking, especially with their comp, they can be looking to push down and keep. This
bottom keep, they're pushing quite happily as the Immortal pushes up top. It didn't have much shield on it, just under half. Or should I say just over a quarter, I think, left. And it's going to push this top keep quite well because it does so much damage. I mean, look at the right clicks it does. Boom. Just
going back to that fight on the Immortal, it was quite clever how Team 1 out of 5 forced their way in and used the Sanctification literally just to get the damage down on the Immortal to claim it. And then they just backed out. And then sadly Storm Wales sort of overstepped and actually got punished for it. But very clever play by Team 1 out of 5.
Very back and forth fight game so far. Storm Wales, they're regular competitors here, but they're definitely having their work cut out for them in this first game. From the newcomers, we've not had 1 out of 5 compete for us yet that I can remember. So apologies if you have. Vala taking a little bit of damage, not no kill going to be chased up there. She's able to
just have another look at some talent. It looks like there may be a fight around this top siege camp, but seems like standard. Oh, the Vala's gone for a double Vault build.
With the
Q build. Which is very nice for bursting people.
Yeah,
out.
I think it's quite clever versus the Sonya as well, because Vala will struggle against the Sonya if it comes to some sort of 1v1, and the fact they only have the Uther support means that she having an extra sustain is really good for her team.
I think 16 is actually when Sylvanas really gets a big power spike for her team with that vulnerability on the Shadow Dagger.
Yeah, even if she doesn't do that much extra damage, it's just the overall...
She's enabling her team. They're not likely to get this keep here. It seems like there's a good defence being mounted by Storm Wales.
Force Wall comes down, it's not really going to do much. In fact, Hanky Boy taking a lot of damage on Vala, able to vault over the Malfurion route, which was very well placed though.
Oh, has he got Vault?
Oh, yes.
No, the Vault got wasted.
And the Divine Shield's going to come out here and save out the Vala just about. Uther taking a lot of damage. Hypath popping his avatar, trying to get a good engage. The Zagar Maul coming down, only landing on 1 again. The Force Wall actually coming down to block out the Uther so he couldn't get any heals down as the fight's actually turned around a lot. And Tyrell's Sonya and eventually Malfurion were cleaned up there. Uther does fall, as does the Muradin, but the chase is on. Sylvanas looks like she's going to end up falling, as potentially will the Tassadar. But Violet taking a lot of damage from the
Both going to get away. Storm Wales just finally got the wombo that their team comp really needs to look for. The Moor only actually landed on one person, but it landed on the Malfurion while he was casting Tranquility,
and that was perfect.
Which essentially wasted it. So it's probably worth to land on one person. And then as soon as he came out of that, there was a Ring of Frost on him, as well as a Rain of Vengeance, which also both caught one other person. And that's just what Storm Wales want to be looking for on every fight.
And they are now actually, obviously, they have a small experience advantage, but more importantly, that level 20 advantage for the next few seconds, and it ticks over for 1 out of 5 now.
Totally even now.
I cannot call this game. I still think 1 out of 5 have a slight advantage, just as overall push damage, and these fights have been more consistently going for them, but like you said...
That last...
Yeah,
if they get that wombo, then they win, basically. If the Devouring Maw, all it's got to do
triple
is
bolt of the storm for the damage dealers of Storm Wales. I mean, it's what you'd expect, but still, it looks very pretty on my talents.
Especially against the Sonya, you just don't want to be near her. Rewind on Muradin instead of Hardened Shield. That's just to give him a bit more CC to lock down that Sonya and kill her.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially with the 300% damage talent on 13 on single Thunderclap, you can essentially double nuke someone as Muradin if you catch them out of position.
And the redemption from Uther means that he's absolutely fine to die as well. He's going to be okay because Flash of Light's on a lot of healing in his own spirit.
Now, the interesting talent is the Tassadars, level 20. Hang on.
Yeah, the extra force wall upgrade, but... As you say, there's a fight going on. A really good Sylvanas arrow lands on 3, the Uther, the Zagara, and the Muradin. Muradin's just going to pop Avatar as soon as the silence is over, and the Sonya's actually really deep into the back lines here. Going to get stunned out immediately out of that stun because of the rapid circle. Yeah, as you say, good Devouring Maw, landing on 2 here. That wombo coming out onto 2
Perfect
from the Ring of Frost, as is the Rain of Vengeance. However, Ice Block came out from Malfurion in order to dodge out. High Path and having to back away. As is Uther, who did die and has come back to life, and Warrior Duck on that Jaina, probably going to end up falling. A really good force wall there, and Boss is the guy trying to distract and take some damage away from the Jaina. Successfully does so. And gonna have
a perfect sanctification come out from Tyrael there. He
they
realised that the Storm Wales were looking for that wombo, and all he had to do was just press R as soon as they went for it. Just nullified all the damage. Perfect. That's exactly what he needed to do.
And now the Uther's been caught out here by the Malfurion Root, the Tyrael, and the Force Warden. His redemption's already popped. He's dead now. He's out.
They're going to get this Immortal here, and I think this might be game, to be honest. Such a late game Immortal. That bottom keep is only half health, and with the pushing power of Sylvanas, this should be GG, I think.
We've got Force Walls and the no-go zone from Tyrael coming to defend their Immortals. The Zagara's going to get caught out here, in fact, from the Sonya and the Force Wall, and she's going to end up dying, and that is going to spell defeat.
Storm Wales are desperately trying to finish that Immortal off because it's so low. Because if they could do that, they'd still be in this game. The problem is, they're just suiciding for it at this point. They're going to get it, though.
Yeah, they are. Well played. The Sylvanas not able to deal the damage quick enough, and Jaina's going to fall for it. And Vala's used her Bolt of the Storm, and in fact, Sylvanas ulti coming out for that, she will end up dying. Yeah.
Now, team 1 out of 5 can end. There's 4 dead.
Yeah. Immortal doesn't mean
to just
anything
be
when there's
3,
no one to defend. Just the Muradin and the Uther going to try and stop this happening, but Storm Wales, unfortunately, don't think it's going to work.
There's going to be no defense for this. Sanctification and Tranquility, just allow them to sustain through it. And that's GG for Team 1 out of 5.
Well played by them.
Really
It's a very
game.
even back and forth game. It's a good warm up for both teams, no matter who won. But that is going to be GG for 5. So they will advance through to the next round as a Glory Ice Block comes out from the Malfurion there.
You've got to use all your cooldowns at the end of the game.
Immediately.